Hi, this is a crash course that provides relevant context to the groups and characters in Denis Villeneuve's adaptation of Dune. Let's begin. The universe was created by Frank Herbert, in which he authored the first 6 books that can be considered canon. His son, Brian Herbert, and sci-fi author Kevin J. Anderson wrote the prequels and sequels, thus expanding the world with 16 more books. So far, Denis Villeneuve created 2 Dune movies, which cover Book 1. The plot of the next Dune movie will most likely be inspired by Dune Messiah, which is the second book in the original canon. There are many groups and families and governments that are part of Dune lore that are absent in Dune and Dune Part 2. However, the ones that did make it are central players in Book 1. Let's start with royalty first. The Padishah Emperor, also known as the Emperor of the Known Universe, is Shaddam IV. In the books, he's calculated and cunning. However, in the movies, he's much more tame and submissive, especially to his daughter, Princess Irulan, who is a Bene Gesserit in training and a hobby historian. They make up House Carino, the royal family, and play a role in Dune Part 2, but are absent in Part 1. The Atreides family consists of Leto Atreides, the Duke of Caladan, and his son, Paul Atreides, who is the lead protagonist in the Dune movies. The Atreides family has been growing in power and influence due to Leto's honorable leadership, reminiscent of Ed Stark from Game of Thrones. Paul is like Jon Snow, in the sense where he's given power that he doesn't really want, but is destined to have, regardless of his decisions. If we're talking about the Atreides, we cannot forget about House Harkonnen. This family hates the Atreides and have for thousands of years. In the movie, we get to see Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, who is the head of the family. He has 2 nephews, Glossaroban and his non-baron, also known as the next in command, Fade Rafa, whom only appears in Part 2. This family is depicted as having evil tendencies and also happen to be the house that overrules Arrakis, which is known as the planet of Dune. Now that we're on the topic of Arrakis, let's take a pit stop and delve into what makes this planet so special. Firstly, it's a difficult planet to live in, where only the toughest people can survive due to its dry climate, which has created a culture that is traumatized by religion and water scarcity. On top of that, Arrakis is the only known planet in the universe that has sandworms, which create spice. So how does one acquire spice? Spice is collected deep in the desert as a natural result of sandworm excretions and fungi mixing under intense pressures. The Fremen claim the spice melange is a byproduct of their god, Shai-Hulud, better known to us as the popcorn bucket. Who are the Fremen? They are a highly religious and disciplined group of natives from Arrakis that have adapted to the harsh conditions of the desert by embracing strict water laws. They're known for having deep blue eyes due to prolonged exposure to spice. Liet is the imperial planetologist assigned to study Arrakis. He became obsessed with the idea of converting Dune into an oasis, so much so that the natives made him an honorable Fremen. In the movies, Liet is played by a woman and is called the Ambassador of the Change, the person set to help the Atreides family become acquainted with the planet Arrakis, after the Harkonnens are commanded by Emperor Shaddam to abandon the planet. In the books, Liet Kynes is father to Chani, who is Paul's love interest. She's a Fremen that challenges the ideas of the Zanzuni religion, the religion of the Fremen, and plays a major role in Dune Part 2. Chani's character in the movie deviates from her character in the books, but that's okay. The last Fremen is Stilgar, who is the wise and powerful Naib of Sietch Tabor. In the books, he's a deep thinker and highly religious, but in the movies, he's unintentionally hilarious with his matter-of-fact thinking and religious fanaticism. The next group are the Mentats. They play a minor role in the movies, but are prominently mentioned in the books. Because the universe takes place in a no-computer society, the Mentats are human computers. They are the walking search engines that give advice to the Great Houses. In the movies, there are 2 Mentats, Tufir Hawat, who has served multiple generations of the Atreides, and Peter the Rye, who is a twisted killer Mentat that has been mentally abused by the Harkonnens. Next is the Spacing Guild. They're important because they have a monopoly on long-distance space travel. They created people called navigators. Navigators are able to use fold space technology and calculate the safest route through multiple dimensions because their minds operate at a quantum level due to the extreme exposure to spice. Navigators literally live in tanks of spice. The final and most important group, in my opinion, is the Bene Gesserit. They are an organization consisting of all women that secretly influence the politics of the universe. They're highly skilled fighters and possess abilities such as commanding their cells to combat diseases, or pitching their voice in a way that can possess people. Advanced level Bene Gesserits are called Reverend Mothers. Reverend Mothers are special because they survive the Water of Life ritual, where they experience and gain all the memories of past and present Reverend Mothers. So, why are they a big deal? Well, they're the organization behind the plot. The Bene Gesserit are unified under one goal: to manage the genetics of the Imperium so they can one day give birth to the Kwisatz Haderach, a male Bene Gesserit that will guide the world into a golden path. After 10,000 years of breeding, the Bene Gesserit just needed to breed a female Atreides and a male Harkonnen. But Lady Jessica, the Bene Gesserit tasked with birthing a daughter to Leto Atreides, disobeyed her orders and instead gave into her love and belief that she could be the mother of the Kwisatz Haderach and gave birth to a son, Paul Atreides. And with this, the movie Dune 1 begins.